And now for our feature presentation.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
JB and Darren on the JB and Goldwater Show.
Line drive right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series. Watson, touchdown. Hunter Renfrow. He got him, and it's all over. Coastal Carolina rules the roost. They win the championship. And South Carolina has won the national championship.
Senegal baseball team has done it again, but this time the Bulldogs beat one of the top teams in the country. They are giant killers. Get the ball to Bennett. He does.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
Wow, what a Thursday it is. Greetings and good afternoon and welcome aboard the JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online, and presented by Motley Rice. Causes not just cases, motleyrice.com, driven by Stokes Volkswagen, and today brought to you in part by our friends at iHelp Consulting. Find them at iHelpConsulting.com and ask yourself this question: how can I help you save thousands of dollars in your business? If you're a business owner, it is a free consult. Check it out at iHelpConsulting.com. The Masters is underway, and it has been for a while. We'll get you to the leaderboard in just a moment. Darren and I are both concurrently hosting a program and watching the Masters. So if you see us look away from time to time or have some type of blank stare or just go quiet, it's because we're paying attention not to you. But we're going to do our best to make sure that we stay engaged over the next couple of hours. Can't wait to be joined at 12:30 by Cory McCartney to preview Major League Baseball. Today is opening day. The Braves play on national TV tonight at 8 o'clock, looking to defend their world championship, only a few months removed from that. So we'll get Cory's thoughts on the Braves and the rest of the big leagues as we are set to go finally in Major League Baseball. And then at 1:15 today, for the final 45 minutes of our program, we'll be joined by two people. I couldn't handpick two better than this to discuss what's happening in Augusta, Georgia. Both Meredith Taylor and Scott Glaze will be here, and there is a lot to get to, and that will be headlined, of course, by Tiger Woods. Make sure you follow us on social media at JB and Goldwater, and individually at Darren Goldwater and at Sports Media JB. The Share Healthcare chat lines, they are open, and you can comment there. If you're out driving around and you don't have Sirius XM where you can listen to the Masters, hopefully you're listening to us. We're going to keep you as engaged as anybody possibly can in a show like this. So you've got to have the app downloaded. If you're watching us from your home or your office and you're heading out somewhere and you want to stay in the loop, download it now if you haven't done so. It is free, and you can watch and listen to us there, and you can comment as well, and we'll answer those questions as soon as we possibly can. Baseball to get to from last night as well. Some major movement with the Board of Trustees in Columbia, but we know what this day stands for. We've been talking about it for a while. It's amazing that they have crossed paths this year, but Major League Baseball and the Masters open on the same day. I don't think that's ever happened before. Maybe it has, but if it hasn't, there's a first for everything. What a Thursday, and hopefully these storms are out of here because it has been rather rocky the last 48 hours in the Palmetto State. Good afternoon, Darren. I know you're excited.
So multitasking is probably one of the things I do best. What you don't know about a lot of broadcasters, I mean, when stuff's going on, there's a lot more going on than you actually see. So I'm very used to watching a monitor over there or calling a game on the field in front of me and having another game on the TV down here while there's a monitor over here and a monitor and a stat monitor. So, I mean, it's second nature to me. So this will be fun. And I think this is a massive, massive swing and miss for Rob Manfred. He could have, while they're setting up their new schedule, he could have said it any day. He could have done it yesterday. Opening day could have been a lot of different days, but they came on Thursday, the opening day of the Masters. And then on top of that, Tiger Woods is playing
Yeah.
in the Masters. They didn't think that would happen when they scheduled it, but it's another massive miss for Rob Manfred. But hey, man, I'm happy they're both here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's better to have it than not, certainly. But I don't know that they could have projected that Tiger would be playing. I'm sure they could have projected that the Masters was going to be playing. That's been set for a while. It was a little late getting underway this morning because of weather, but it is underway. And here's what it looks like. If you haven't been paying attention and you just couldn't wait until the JB and Goldwater show came on to get you up to speed on what is happening in Augusta, Georgia at Augusta National Golf Course, Harry Higgs has taken the lead. He is through 8 today. He's at 2 under par, and he is a shot up on the leaderboard. His scorecard through 8, bogey, birdie, 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 bogey, par, par, and the latest, a birdie on number 8 for Harry Higgs. So he's got the lead. He's one shot ahead of a foursome. Minwoo Lee, Brian Harmon, Taylor Gooch, and Daniel Berger are all 4 under through early on the earliest round of the golf tournament. And then there's tons at even par. And that does include Tiger Woods, who is set to make another par here at number 4 as soon as he walks up and taps this one in, Darren. And certainly we're going to get, you know, the expert takes in just a little while from Meredith and from Scotty. But overall, I mean, it's been a pretty good start for Tiger. He has every shot he's taken has kept him, given him a chance to hit birdie. He hasn't hit any, but he's about to be at par through 4 shots. It's been a marvelous start for him with everything that's gotten him here.
Yeah, it's a ho-hum start. His drive on 1, he got lucky that he had a shot in towards the green, so he did, and then he ends up saving par on 1. He left one short on the par 5, so he ended up having to just basically tap in for par on the par 5. So he's plodding along. He looks okay. It's a noticeable limp at times. I'm curious to see how he holds up. Look, he's Tiger, so I'm not worried about the mental part of his game. I'm not worried about the short part of his game. I'm purely worried about the physical health. Ho-hum start, but to his benefit, to everyone's benefit, while early. This thing didn't start until about 8:15, 8:30, I believe. It was backed up a half hour because of weather. Still, the guys who are out there, no one's going super low at the moment, even though there's only a fraction of guys who are out there.
Yeah. No, I'm actually a little surprised by that. Harry Higgs just took the lead too at 2 under. He's the first one to get there. Everybody else has been at 1 under, if anything. But I'll tell you what, not to discount your comments. I don't mean this in a poor way at all. But if I would have gotten in the wreck that Tiger did, I'd take that ho-hum after 4 holes for sure. I think it's been a spectacular. And somebody just pointed out on the broadcast, he's been under the hole on every shot that he's hit too. So he's seeing it well out there and he's feeling it. And we'll see what that carries moving forward for Tiger. But again, 4 or even par through 4. He's got the par 4 5th coming up, and then the par 3 6th, and then he's got that par 5 in the 8th there. So if Tiger can maybe find a way to get out of the 9, Darren, at 1 under par, that's a huge win. Not only from a golf standpoint, because he hasn't taken himself out of it, but from a mental standpoint, coming out and playing well.
Yeah, and without his best stuff. I mean, he has been under the hole, but it's been there's nothing dialed in. I mean, he's not throwing darts. Like I said, the drive on 1 was off, and he was fortunate. Neiman wasn't as fortunate. Neiman had to play out where Tiger was still able to actually have a shot there on 1. But yeah, I mean, if you're hanging around, if you're not going the wrong way through 9, I mean, all of this is progress for Tiger. We didn't think he was going to be here. The broadcast is they're 2 professionals, but they are puking over themselves in awe of Tiger. It's somewhat unprofessional, actually. I'm enjoying the fact that it's muted right now, to be perfectly honest with you. But look, I mean, any non-regression right now is good for Tiger, especially if no one's running away with it out in front of him.
Absolutely. I think that Lucas Glover from Clemson, of course, Eric Van Rooyen, and Cameron Champ have teed off. That was the next group to go. I'm pretty sure they have gone. And then it was Bernard Longer, Christian Bazidenhout. Yep. If you remember, we got that right here. and Cameron Champ, or excuse me, and Cam Davis were the next group to go. It's going well for Tiger in the fact that he is at even par. Here's who it's not going well for. Vijay Singh through 10, he's 6 over, and he is a shot worse than Matthew Wolff, 5 over through 7. So those guys are at the bottom of the leaderboard, and neither one of them was really expected to be in contention or anything like that. But it's just been a rough start to the day for both those guys, and I'll just say that I always keep an eye on Fred Couples because before my dad passed away, Fred Couples was his favorite golfer, and Freddie is 2 over today through 11 holes. So it's kind of what it looks like out there. A couple of the other notables also through 4. Bryson DeChambeau, he is at even. Justin Thomas is on the course. He is at even through 3. He's on 4, about to be done with 4. Scheffler just got going. He's a hot pick to win it this week. He's even through a couple of holes, and that's kind of what it looks like out there, Darren. Anything else thus far that has stood out to you? It's really early. I know that.
Right, it's early. I like Couples too. I'll follow up on that. I mean, I've always liked Couples. I've always sort of liked Vijay Singh, but he's kind of tailed away. Vijay's always been known as a tireless worker. I mean, a guy who'll just beat balls into the ground until he just can't anymore. Freddie's obviously got that back, but he's also known as one of the best guys on tour. Also, one of the closest friends of Jim Nantz. For anyone who doesn't know that, they were roommates at Houston together. So Nantz has said he still firmly believes Freddie could win another one of these. And if you pay attention to the Masters at all, you know that Freddie's generally, you can expect he's going to be around the leaderboard on the first day or two and then kind of slide away. I don't know if he will be today. He's not off to a good start, but he knows this course well, and doesn't matter that he's old and he can't hit it that far. I mean, course knowledge here is as important as any other course on tour.
Freddie's, what's he, 60?
Oh, yeah, he's got to be into his 60s somewhere. And he's had back problems for decades.
Man, you talk about accomplishing a lot in life. You're in your 60s and you're still playing Augusta National. You've made it. You've made it. And when you get to go to that dinner, you've made it. That means you won one.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of Freddie. I see Craig there in the Share Healthcare chat lines. Yeah, they're talking 20 to 30 mile an hour winds tomorrow. I'm not sure if that's sustained or gusts. I think that I've heard the sustained are a little under that, but yeah, if you get the gusts up there at 25, 30, that's gonna do some damage to some guys. So what they're playing today is going to be a different course than what they'll play tomorrow from a condition standpoint. The course, of course, we understand how it plays for the most, but more on that with Scott and Meredith ahead, and can't wait. We're going to extend them as much as we can today and tomorrow to let them talk to you about golf, because they're really good.
It's an important
115.
Sorry to jump you right there. It's an important day today because they didn't think the conditions would be this good today. They thought there was going to be some wind. So that was one of the early, hey, we've got a little bit better conditions here today. We don't know about tomorrow. So it does make round one pretty important. Speaking of, and I know we're going to get to them, and speaking of round one, we're going to see this throughout the show, and I'll throw it up now just because, again, mentioned round one. How important is today? Your first look at the Post Up Careers winners resume trends. 17 consecutive winners have been tied for 10th or better after the first round of the Masters. 17 in a row have been tied for 10th or better. So today is very, very important in terms of who eventually comes away with the green jacket. Post Up Careers, find them online, postupcareers.com. Everything you need to advance your current career or switch track, get a perfect resume, LinkedIn stuff, and get that new job.
It's a fantastic stat, and that would mean that if you are going to live bet this, you might not want to look past the top 10 if you're going to do it at the end of day one. Speaking of which, Darren, in the last 20 minutes, Tiger Woods in live betting at mybookie.ag has gone from 60 to 1 odds to 38 to 1 odds to win the tournament. The best odds right now are John Rahm. He has dropped from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1 odds. So if you're still a believer in John Rahm, yeah, I guess you can make some more money now than you could have before by throwing some cash on him, as those odds have slipped a little bit.
I'll say this. Tiger's odds have actually decreased today. They jumped on my bookie to 33 to 1 when I looked at it last night. And then I'm not sure exactly what it was when he teed off today, but because he's slightly back on the leaderboard, those have dipped again. But remember, they jumped from like 60 to 30 to 40 before that late push. So he's still within that threshold of 40. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. He just hit a 287-yard drive right down the pipe on number 5. So Tiger is looking to make some noise here. I think he's got 208 or 218 or something like that to the pin. So we're going to continue to follow along. Tony Finau, Adam Scott, Joaquin Niemann, Daniel Berger, they are all up at 1 under par now as well. And I think let me look at the Share Healthcare chat lines. Meredith, hey Meredith, we'll see her in an hour. Cam Smith just chipped in for birdie on number 5. So that's some noise being made here early in the dance over in Augusta as well. All right, last night in college baseball, suspended in the 7th. I don't know when they're going to make it up. I haven't seen anything. But the College of Charleston and Coastal Carolina, they halted it because of weather. And if any of you went through the weather we went through last night, you'll know why. They were going to blow away out there. It was pretty rough around here. We got the kids in bed. Matter of fact, for the first time ever, Darren, I had a little 3-year-old wake up and come running down the hallway going, hey, what's going on out there? It's okay. So they have suspended that. I don't think they've announced the date when they're going to come back and complete the game, but I guess I need to look at the schedule. If they play again this year, then they're probably just going to play that one first and then play the next one. But 7-2, nonetheless, is the score. The Shots over the Cougs in a suspended 7th inning ball game up there in Conway last night. The big noise that was made was in Charlotte. South Carolina beat the Tar out of the heels. Yeah, you like that. And thus far, in the last little while, Gamecocks have owned the Tar Heels, athletically speaking, at least, on the field and anywhere else they've pretty much played. That one didn't see that. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming last night. It was 6-0 early, and they ended up pounding their way into a 15-2 victory. South Carolina at 14-14 is a terrible record for this Gamecocks baseball program. But when you look at Warren Nolan, which is definitely a piece of the puzzle that they'll use to pick the tournament later, they're up there. Gamecocks are up in the top 40 in RPI, and they got Georgia coming to town this weekend. Who I don't know if anybody's noticed this or not. Georgia's 3rd in the RPI, the Warren Nolan Live RPI, 3rd. And I am told to expect some news today pertaining to this series that, in the words that were given to me, can't hurt the Gamecocks. So we'll see what the news is. I think it has something to do with Georgia. I don't know. I'm not going to play this game with you like I know something that you don't know, because I don't know. I think I might have an idea, but we'll wait to see what the news is. So Gamecocks have been really good at home, especially against some of the top programs that they have already hosted at Founders Park, Texas and Vanderbilt. Georgia's another one that's coming to town, and then next weekend it'll be Ole Miss. So we'll kind of see what happens. Tiger, by the way, just chipped up close to the pin, and it rolled off a few feet, so he's got a little bit to go here on number 5. But Carolina whipped them last night, Darren. That was a big win for them, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on college baseball today. We will be joined tomorrow early in the program by Derek Scott for a little while to preview the series this weekend and talk a little bit about Lamont Paris. He spent time with him last night in the coaches show in Columbia. But I just continue to kind of harp on the same thing. These midweeks are weird. You're going to lose some. And by the way, and here's the news to pass along to you. Georgia's ace is out this weekend with a strained muscle in his forearm. So he will not pitch. Jonathan Cannon is not going to pitch for Georgia. That is substantial news.
So do you bump Sanders to Friday from Saturday because of that?
I don't think they will, because Noah Hall pitched well last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't think they'll do that now. I think that you'll probably leave it there and continue to ride that train you're on now. But
yeah,
that's big news. That's huge news for Georgia going into the weekend. But I'll continue to say this because I saw Jamie earlier said something in our Share Healthcare chat lines. I feel like this is one of the most up and down Carolina baseball teams I can remember. It is either 14 and 14. Here's my reasoning why. And look, if this made its way into the locker room and I got a call from Coach Kingston today and he told me I was dead wrong, and I would gladly back down. This is just my experience with it. I just don't know that they have great leadership. That's what happens when you have a trend of losing midweek games. Like you don't get the crap beat out of you at home by Xavier and lose to PC at home, then go to Charlotte and beat North Carolina. Like it doesn't really work that way. And then you beat all these good teams. It's just I just see that as a leadership issue. I don't mean that personal, but collectively the leadership just needs to improve. And if it does, the team probably will. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But they got another big chance to get it done. There you go, Leighton. He said that Scott Strickland said it on UGA radio, he believes. So yeah, that's big news, and we will we'll monitor that this weekend, see how Georgia adjusts to losing their ace against the Gamecocks on the road.
Last night's almost another example of what they've done. They've played well against good teams for the most part. No one's played well against Tennessee. They're killing everyone. Other than that, they've hung in there with good teams. So now you got Georgia, right? And another decent series. Like you said, I mean, I think anyone who follows college baseball knows Warren Nolan. But if you're not deep into it, and if you're just kind of hoping the Gamecocks push their way towards the postseason, that's a website to keep tabs on, because you hear a lot about the net and you hear RPI stuff in the past. It's still used for college basketball, just not as much. Warren Nolan supplies that for college basketball on the side as well. And they're a number one source really for college baseball. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Back at the Masters, the shot Tiger just hit is one of his best shots that he's hit to this point. And he just got a bad break. It was his second shot on a par 4, and he cut it in. And if he landed it 2-3 feet more to the left, that thing doesn't catch the ridge and roll down to where he's about to putt for birdie from. Instead, that thing's probably nestled in there tight.
It is a birdie. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. So it was one of his better shots. He just got a bad break.
Yeah. What did that roll off? 4 or 5 feet?
Yeah, and down the slope, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, so he's going to have to come up. He's got maybe, 10-ish, 12 feet or so for birdie here, and see if he could either knock it in or keep it close so he can keep this par streak going to open his first round in Augusta. Yeah, again, there you go. Thus far, Tigers kind of hanging in there early on this April the 7th. It is so great that the Masters is back. One other quick from baseball in our state last night, or a couple real to pass along. First, Winthrop had a nice win over UNC Charlotte, who's really good this year, 9-6 victory there. Ethan Fuel had a big game for them. Ethan played at Wando, so congratulations to him. But North Greenville beat Bluefield State 20-5, and the 20 big number. That's not why I'm telling you what the score was. I'm telling you that they won the game because North Greenville is now 30-6 on the season. If anybody has kept up with their numbers over the last few years under Landon Powell, you've figured out that they are a D2 powerhouse, and they're really good, and they take a lot of transfers. But what you've also probably discovered, if you look into their numbers, is that they hammer the baseball. And collectively, this team is hitting .342 through 36 games. Darren, 342
as a team.
Let me say this again. 342 through 36 games, and they have 354 runs scored on the year. That is 10 runs a game for anybody that's kind of counting. And in addition to that, North Greenville has swiped 83 bags and attempted 97 stolen bases through 36 games. I mean, it is a lethal offense. They got 2 cats hitting over 400 with a combined 100 RBI and 19 home runs. Merrick Schlupp and John Michael Fail, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Somewhere
Fail's a bad name for an athlete, though.
Yeah, we'll go with Faley then.
Yeah, do that.
And then they have one of the best names I've ever seen in baseball, Garrig Octavio. And this cat's having a nice season as well. He's hitting .371. Garrig is his name, and he's a baseball player. So I figured I'd pass that along. We try to give as much love around the state as we can in baseball because a lot of these guys just don't get it other places. And this offense deserves it. They're hitting almost 350 as a team through 36 games. That is unbelievable.
I just pulled it up. They're number 11 in this week's D2 baseball poll, so that obviously doesn't factor in the 30 runs last night because it came out a couple days ago. They are the second-ranked team in the region. I'm not going to count Tampa in this region. They're number 1 in D2, but Wingate is definitely in this region. They're up in North Carolina, and they're the number 2 ranked team in Division II baseball. So North Greenville is probably the number 2 team in this region for D2.
Yeah, they're outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Tiger is putting for birdie here. As Darren pointed up, it is uphill.
Oh, yeah.
And then it looks like that thing's going to probably roll to the right a little bit, Darren. So if he can knock this in, he's going to move to 1 under par here at 1225.
He thought it was in.
On the 5th hole. He sure did.
It moved left. He thought it was in and caught the lip and bumped away pretty good.
Wow. That one, it looked in. I thought it was in. It lipped right out. So Tiger with another par 5 consecutive to open the day. Again, Scott and Meredith, more on that ahead. Let me get to the Share Healthcare chat lines on this. Bobby, if we make a move from Kingston, do we ask Landon to come home? Adam, so what you're saying is the next Carolina baseball coach is going to be Landon Powell. No, I did not say that. I love you, man, but I did not say that. And I would say this to your question, Bobby. Look, I'm not going to speak for Coach Tanner, but I don't think Landon Powell will be the next head baseball coach at South Carolina. Could be wrong, but if there's a change that is made, there are significant options. This search would be way different than what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, you can
way different.
Reference the conversation we had with JC about this. I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. If there is a change, the goal of the next search is not let's tab the hot rising coach, even one who carries so much history with South Carolina. The goal is not that. The goal is let's go do what LSU did and go hire Brian Kelly away from Notre Dame. Like that type of thing. That's the goal, whether they can do it or not. And then, hey, that's only if there's a change.
Yeah, exactly. And they won by 13 runs last night. Hey,
yeah,
interesting how the Charlotte narrative slipped off to bed for a lot of the disgruntled keyboard warrior Carolina fans out there, huh? They're 3-0 in Charlotte since December 30th. Nobody said a peep about it. Prior to that, it was, oh, we don't ever need to go to Charlotte again. We can't win up there. We can't do that. All time, Carolina's really good in Charlotte in football and in baseball. I don't ever want to hear another word about it, like ever again. If you have friends that complain about it, tell them to pull out the record book and shut the hell up. I mean, it is obnoxious. You lose and win, not based on where you're playing in a neutral site. So props to the Gamecocks for continuing to own the Queen City. For those out there that just have no clue of what they're talking about ever when it comes to that. That is, I can't stand that crap. But I can stand this. Major League Baseball returns today. Cory McCartney is going to pop in next. We'll preview the season, and we'll talk about the Atlanta Braves as they look to defend their World Series championship here in 2022, right here on the JB and Goldwater Show.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity financed a new loan, subject to lender approval.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work. and 2 others you probably don't think much about. Stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
It's the best time of the year on the sports calendar, and there's no better place to soak it all in than your spring headquarters. Dog and Duck, with 3 area locations in Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road. Until May, $5 pints of Wicked Weed Brews and Devil's Backbone. Again, until May. Patio seating, happy hour daily, family bingo on Monday, the Duck Truck Double Burger every Wednesday, rib night on Friday. It's the place to be for the best wings in town, the best sports everywhere you look. Dog and Duck, 3 area locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road.
Motley Rice LLC is a law firm with international reach, but it hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Motley Rice team fights every day for people harmed by products including asbestos and talc exposure, medical drugs and devices, and also catastrophic injuries and auto recalls, including dangerous Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. Visit motleyrice.com. Thank you, Motley Rice, for supporting the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
Okay, what's going on today, huh? Anything to talk about?
All right, greetings and a good Monday afternoon. Greetings and a good Tuesday afternoon. Greetings and a good Wednesday afternoon, and welcome aboard. All right, greetings and a good Thursday afternoon. Greetings and a good Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard. All right, 12:32 on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome back. The JB and Goldwater Show. Brought to you in part today by iHelp Consulting. How can I help you? If you own a business, just check out the website. They might literally be able to help you. iHelpConsulting.com. Tiger and his group, Louis Oosthuizen, they are and Joaquin Neiman. And, Tiger almost sunk it for hole-in-one at the 6th. He is set up for birdie now within about a foot of the hole off of the tee box at the par 3 6th. So it looks like Tiger here 6 holes in will move to 1 under par when he comes up and taps it in. This, you mentioned just a moment ago, Darren, Tiger's best shot of the day on the previous hole. Well, that's his best shot of the day now. This one was staring at the flag pin as it approached. So Tiger set to go 1 under par. Scott Glaze, Meredith Taylor ahead in hour 2 for 45 minutes to discuss what is happening in Augusta. Anything substantial that happens while Cory is on the phone, we will absolutely pass it along to you. But in addition to what's being played over there in golf, all around the country today, Major League Baseball will welcome itself back to America. Finally, it's been too long, as we all know. The Braves are going to play tonight at 8 o'clock, and they will kick off their 2022 campaign to try to win another world championship. We'll see if they could do it. Nobody knows baseball better than Cory McCartney, and he just hung up on us, but he'll be right back here in right back here. Whoa, calling him on the air. He'll be right back here in just a moment. Do what?
I said no.
I
was getting angry at my computer. I'll get him back.
Okay. All right. So Cory will be back in here in just a moment. If you're planning to watch some baseball tonight after maybe the conclusion of the Masters, it's an 8 o'clock first pitch on ESPN2 between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. And Max Fried will be on the bump, Truist Park tonight, in their defense of the title to kick it off this year. There's Cory McCartney. Welcome back, baseball. Welcome back, Cory. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Well, it's finally arrived, man. It's we've waited too long.
Yeah, we should have had this already going. If I would actually be at Truist Park today, I would have been at opening day had we not decided to delay everything. And my son had his marching band be at Disney. So unfortunately, I am standing in the rain at the moment on Main Street at Disney World while the Braves are getting ready to open up tonight against the Reds.
Oof.
And there's lightning and thunder, so not magical at all.
Well, you just, it is, you got to do what you got to do for your kids, Corey. And sometimes being struck by lightning is one of those things. So,
I will tell you guys, if you make it down here anytime soon, hardly anything's open. The food takes forever. The lines are extremely long. There's hardly any workers, but it still costs the same, if not more. So imagine that.
It sounds like you're having a glorious time.
we used to bring them all the time down here when I was, when they were younger. They'd come down with me for spring training. My kids are like, they've been Disneyed out their entire lives. I think at this point they just want to go to a beach house and chill. But my son being in the marching band set us up with different priorities for the week.
Okay. Good luck.
My cousin takes his kids down generally every year. Last year they decided to go to the Keys, but I asked him. I said, if I wanted to take my family to when they're old enough, they're only 3. I don't want to chase them around, but when I want to take them, how much money do I need to do it right? He said, to do it right. I said, yeah. He said, you're going to want to go for about a week. And I said, yeah. And he goes, I said, well, what is that going to cost me? He said, yeah, you might want to save about 10 grand for that one, pal. I said, okay, well, I think we'll just go to your mountain house.
So I will tell you guys, when we would come down here for spring training, we had this guy that I worked with at now Valley Sports, one of the producers there. And his dad played the greatest, if not cruelest trick you could ever play on a child. And he brought him to Orlando and took him to one of those rickety old, looking little amusement park deals and told him that was Disney World.
Oh, smooth. Very smooth. By the way, smooth like Louis Oosthuizen, who doubled number 5, but just chipped in from off the green to birdie number 6, where Tiger's about to tap in for birdie. All right, tonight at 8:00, the Atlanta Braves will kick off their defense of their 2021 World Championship, Corey. Any surprises on the opening day roster for Atlanta, at least in your mind?
No, not really. I mean, I think, Spencer Strider being a part of things, that kind of materialized, as everyone expected. William Contreras, I think if you wanted to quantify one thing as a surprise, it would be William Contreras, who they're going to primarily use as an outfielder, I guess, and an emergency, infielder, if not, obviously a catcher as well. But I don't think you would have anticipated him being an option to make the roster. So, I think his inclusion would probably be what you would quantify as a surprise.
Spencer Strider's really good. We watched him pitch for a long time at Clemson. What do you like about him?
100 miles an hour is a lot like. I think obviously at this point with him, it's how much control can you have on that pitch, and then how much of the secondary stuff kind of tunnel and look the same where guys just can't time up that fastball. So I think it's the same development for a lot of guys who are that young and throw that hard. But certainly when you can harness what he's capable of doing, I mean, he can be a very special arm.
How about the acquisition of, and we're going to talk more about acquisitions in baseball across the landscape of the entire sport. But how about Kenley Jansen? I mean, the conversation has been around Matt Olson, clearly because he's an elite player, but most importantly because he's replacing Freddie Freeman, who's off to L.A. This guy is coming from L.A. to Atlanta. They actually have a closer that they don't have to figure out who their closer is going to be. It's Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, so it's a really weird situation if you think about it, right? So the Dodgers are not willing to spend $16 million on a one-year deal for Kenley Jansen. He comes to the Braves on that deal. Meanwhile, they ship off A.J. Pollock and get Craig Kimbrell and are going to pay him $16 million for the 2022 season. So I'm not really sure what in the world the Dodgers were thinking with this maneuver. But from the Braves standpoint, Alex Anthopoulos told us he went and talked to Will Smith before they went down this road with Kenley Jansen and made sure that he was 100% on board with it. Jansen's now going to slide into that closer role. When you look at Will Smith, across his career, he's actually been better in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings from an ERA standpoint in the Ks per 9 than he has in the closer role. And obviously, he was the guy last year, who I believe it was 70-75% of all his appearances included seeing more than 3 batters an inning. So a little bit of a cardiacness to what he brings to the table. So you bring a guy in Jansen in that has that elite cutter, Obviously one of the more accomplished closers of this generation. I think it just makes the bullpen that much deeper. And once you can slot everybody down an inning, they're just going to be that more dangerous. Obviously losing Luke Jackson to, likely Tommy John surgery here hurt, but they just have so much depth that they're in position to absorb that.
Cory McCartney at 12:39 here on this opening day / Masters Thursday afternoon. Have you ever seen the movie Summer Catch, Cory? It's pretty poorly acted, but have you ever seen it?
Dude, Jessica Biel. How can you not have seen that?
Yeah.
So on Sunday mornings, MLB Network will show their movies in the morning before games start. And we would be in the clubhouse when they would have MLB Network on. And literally, we'd be watching Summer Catch in the clubhouse with these guys saying, I played in the Cape Cod League, and it was never like that.
No, I know a lot of guys that played at the Cape. It was not like that at all. But I will say this. The closer that plays with Freddie Prinze Jr. who always falls asleep in the dugout?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kenley Gentry reminds me of him. I don't know why, but every time I look at him, I think about that cat sleeping in the dugout.
I thought we were going to go down a Freddie Prinze Jr. line here. I thought we were going to start talking about, all of his, all of his movies and what else is, She's All That. There you go.
No.
Let's talk about She's All That for a little while.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. All right, Cory, they have gold uniforms. They're the defending champions. We know all that. But what are you most excited to see this season out of the Atlanta Braves?
Honestly, I think it's just what's Acuna going to do when he gets back, right? He's supposed to be back the first weekend in May. They're going to use him as a designated hitter / outfielder to come back. I think it's easy to remember, easy to forget sometimes, I guess, more so that they won without arguably their best player. You think about what he's going to bring to this table. And the guy was fired up this offseason. You saw those workout videos from him that just needed the Rocky theme on them. He was doing crazy stuff. He's jacked. He's ready to go. He's a man on a mission. So I think what he's able to bring to the table, and I know it's not something that, people really want to dig into the behind the scenes stuff, but remember, they won without Marcell Ozuna, who was the reigning National League RBI and home run champion. So I think when you put those two guys into this lineup and consider how dangerous they're going to be and how deep it's going to be, this could be a lot of fun to see what this team can do offensively.
I agree. There are a lot of new faces in the National League East, Cory, and the Braves are going to see all of them this year. What free agent signing or trade, for that matter, do you think will have the largest impact in this division and then elsewhere in baseball?
Yeah, I think it's the easy one to say, but I think it has to be Max Scherzer, right? Because if you think about Jacob deGrom and the situation with him and being shut down, and we hear that Brandon McCarthy is somebody who a veteran of I believe 12 seasons who said he had this injury multiple times, the same thing multiple times, and it just takes rest. And wasn't too worried about deGrom's situation, but I think last year when you consider the elbow and now the shoulder, was that compensation for what was bothering him a year ago? I'm not trying to go down playing a doctor here on the radio, but certainly, you think about a Mets team without him. But if Max Scherzer's there, you can obviously, you can be okay with not having Jacob deGrom for a period of time. So I think when you consider all the things that the Mets did offensively, and you bring in, all the pieces that they did, Starling Marte, Mark Hanna, Eduardo Rodriguez. There's so many different guys that they're able to, to sort in there now. And obviously Francisco Lindor, you hope that he's going to bounce back in a big way. I think they could be so much better, but if they have that frontline guy, and it's being Scherzer with deGrom out, I think they could be a really dangerous team.
All right, so what's behind those guys? You got your rotation's got 5 in it. Those two are no doubt the best, but who's behind that?
Chris Bassett comes over from Oakland, and he's an all-star, past all-star. You got Taijuan Walker. You've got Carlos Carrasco. Who obviously had his cancer issues with the Indians, but supposedly going to come back and be strong again this season. Obviously there's a drop off after that. You look at those guys that they kind of were moving into their bullpen roles that they're going to have to dive into to bring one of those guys up. But they still could go 4 strong, and I think the only rotation I would argue in this division that can go 4 strong, if not 5, going into the opening day, is the Marlins. That's the only rotation in this division going into opening day that you feel has depth past 3. So I think even if DeGrom's out and somebody has to step up in the pen, I think the Mets are still in pretty good shape when you consider the rest of the East's staff.
Mm-hmm.
What about outside of the East? You look around the rest of the National League. Who is poised to maybe take a big step forward this year?
I mean, the Padres are going all in, right? I mean, you think, they obviously traded away Chris Paddock today, but they got, a little bit better. They're going to have Fernando Tatis Jr. out for a little while, right? But they've still been so aggressive, and there's so much there. I think that they're going to be in a really great race out in the West. I think the East and the West are going to be two really good, potentially three-team races for both of them. The Central, I think, this is still the Brewers' territory. I think the Cardinals have improved, but I think the East and the West are sorting themselves out to be a couple really exciting races.
So with the Padres moves, are you giving the nod in the West to LA, or are you kind of leaning San Diego here?
No, definitely the Dodgers.
Okay.
I mean, that you got an offense that basically that you could make that the NL All-Star team.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would argue with it. But we talk about pitching questions, right? I mean, who is Clayton Kershaw in 2022? When is Dustin May ever going to come back? I mean, I think Julio Urias and obviously Walker Buehler is a Cy Young candidate, but you have questions with them after you get past there too. So it's just funny how many of these teams that we're talking about in the National League are all predicated by these powerhouse offenses, and they all have pitching questions once you get past the first couple guys in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So entering the season, who's the best team in the National League?
Oh, I think it's the Dodgers. I think the Braves can be. I think what's the real key for them is, again, pitching. I hate to keep going back to this, but once you get past Freed, Morton, and Ian Anderson, what does the back end look like? Are they going to get enough consistently out of Kyle Wright that you feel that they're going to be viable? Are they going to get Huascar Ynoa like the way he looked like before he broke his hand? I think the bullpen is the best in the National League East, maybe in the National League. I think the lineup is maybe the 1B or number 2 behind the Dodgers. It's just what happens after those first three pitchers. I think that's going to be the biggest question mark the Braves are going to face all season long.
Cory McCartney here at 12:47. Opening day in Major League Baseball finally has arrived. The first pitch of the season will be thrown at 2:20 p.m. in Chicago at Wrigley between the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. And then for the first time ever, there will be a Guardian in baseball today. That's the second game, the Royals and the Cleveland Guardians in the 4 o'clock hour. So looking forward to that one as well. How about that American League, Cory? When you look at all three divisions, is it once again the AL East?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the way that the Blue Jays went out and just got that much better. I think they're going to be obviously a force. The Yankees are going to be really, really good. Boston's going to Trevor Story. They're going to be a really potent offense. I do wonder out west though. I think the Mariners, to me, I think could have the potential to be the real surprise this year. I love that outfield. I love Jesse Winkler along there with Mitch Haniger. They've added some pitching. I think they're going to be a really good offense. They've got their big prospect making his debut as well. So I think the Mariners have a chance. Obviously, you get Trout back along with Ohtani. I think the Angels are going to be very exciting. It'll be interesting to see how Houston moves on. Without Carlos Correa in that lineup, I think that's going to be a gigantic piece they're going to miss with what they're able to do. But I think Toronto to me is that team. They're so exciting, so young. I think that's going to be the team to watch in the AL.
A couple of schedule notes on everything that you just said there. Speaking of Ohtani, he'll start tonight for the Angels at 9:38 Eastern. 9:38 Eastern is when the first pitch will be thrown against the Houston Astros. And you also brought up the Yankees and the Red Sox, originally scheduled to play today. They're going to play tomorrow. That one has already been postponed because of weather. And the Mariners and the Twins, that one has been postponed and will be played tomorrow as well. You mentioned the Red Sox and Trevor Story, but I think you forgot about the best center fielder in baseball. Jackie Bradley Jr. is back playing for Boston.
Thought you were going to go Andrew Jones.
Yeah, but I mean, Boston, there's just going to be so much offensive firepower. I really feel sorry for the Orioles, right? I mean, I think we've been saying that for the past 2 years, but you got to think about 19 games against those three teams. It's good luck to those guys. I know that they've been through a lot in Baltimore, watching that team through this really, really long rebuild process, but it is not going to be very much fun for that Baltimore team at all this year.
You know, doesn't it feel like this season is circled in deep permanent marker by the front office of the New York Yankees? I mean, they've added so many big names over the last year plus. I mean, you look at the guys that are going to roll out there tomorrow. You know, Garrett Cole, Anthony Rizzo, DJ LeMahieu, Josh Donaldson is there. He's shaven and short hair and the whole 9 yards. You know, they got Joey Gallo. Clearly, they still have Judge and Stanton. I mean, they've signed everybody that they can sign over the last couple of years, and it almost feels like they signed them with the intention of winning now when they sign them, but also with the intention of, yeah, once we're all kind of together in 2022 for a complete season, we should win the World Series. Like, should they be considered World Series contenders?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be really, really good. You mentioned, I mean, they were aggressive this offseason. You know, I think you take on the money of Josh Donaldson. You know, certainly you're doing this in the win now mode. You know, certainly they, brought in Garrett Cole, as you mentioned before. There's just so many weapons there. They had, a kind of a sore spot in the lineup, and it's behind the plate there with Gary Sanchez, and they move on in getting the Twins to take them off their hands in that Donaldson deal. So, they're just going to be it's going to be a really good team. But they're, the same thing with Toronto, though. Think about that young core and how they were able to surround guys. I think the worst thing that has happened to the Yankees during this gear up, if you will, for 2022 is that the Blue Jays have taken equal steps, if not more steps, because they have so many young guys that they've developed, and we're able to build veterans around them and are just in a position where they're not spending a real ton of money and are going to be big time contenders in 22.
The New York Yankees, a lot of Palmetto State flavor once again, folks. They're second in rotation is former South Carolina left-hander Jordan Montgomery. A lot will settle on his shoulders this year if the Yankees want to not only win the division but make noise in the postseason. And yesterday, when the official roster was released, the Citadel's J.P. Sears and former Gamecock righty Clark Schmidt have also made it for New York. So we'll keep our eyes on all those guys and see how they perform this year. How about rule changes, Corey, in baseball? What are you happy with? What do you like? What do you dislike? Clearly, the DH is going to be a major player now in the sport, but there's other stuff out there as well. Kind of walk us through what we're going to see this year and your opinion on it.
Well, we're obviously, as you mentioned, the DH. I think that's going to be to the benefit of everybody. There were certainly, Max Frieds of the world that you still wanted to see go up there taking their cuts, but I'll never forget watching batting practice with guys like Mike Fulton-Nevich, and guys who hadn't picked up a bat in years and just wildly swinging at stuff. And the fact that we're not going to see that anymore, I think, to the benefit of the game. I think one really interesting thing I think is going to be, the umpires announcing, the decisions made to the crowd on these replays, because I think, there's certainly a sense of, there's certain things that I don't even think, all of us completely understand, be it the players, the guys in the dugout as the managers, us watching at home in the press box. I think, really going inside these umpires' rationale, I think is going to be, a fascinating aspect of this. I'm kind of ambivalent on the ghost runner. I don't even know why we call it that, because it's literally a person standing on second base and not a ghost runner in extra innings. But I can kind of go either way on that. I might have tweaked it and say, let's play, 3 more innings, and maybe after the 12th, then we kind of go to like a sudden death overtime feel, and you have that guy on second. But I guess we're going to get it again, and then we'll see if it speeds up the process of getting these games and extra innings over with faster.
Yeah, if I heard you correctly, I think I agree with you. I think this is something we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. Do you think that extra inning rule, to be clear here, you play the game and then you get through 12 innings, you get through 13 innings, and if it's still knotted up, then you're saying plug the guy in at second?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you almost treat another 3 innings as though it's like a regular overtime. Right. And if you want to think about after the third, let's make that sudden death or double overtime. And now let's tweak it a little bit, but let's allow the game to still play itself out a little bit before we get to that point.
I totally agree. I think that this is ridiculous what they're doing. Honestly, it has the feel of Little League to me, and I think it's ridiculous that the commissioner of the league even let it get that far. It's a joke, to be honest with you. I mean, Cory, do you have the percentage of how many games every year actually go 13, 14 innings or longer?
I don't have. I do have it somewhere. I don't have it obviously with me at the moment. I mean, if I had my my Rolodex here of information, I'd get it for you pretty quickly here. But it is not. I did not bring it with me to Main Street of Disney World.
That's so ridiculous. Why in the world would you not travel with that information? I mean, Cory, there are how many teams are in baseball? 32 teams in the sport, right? And they all play 162 games. That's a lot of baseball, and I feel like I see this maybe at most 10 times a year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, and it's those really memorable games are the ones that stick with you, right? It's watching, the 22 inning games that are the kind of things that you like. Those are the ones that people recall, not necessarily whether something went, got over in 10 or if we're taking it to 12.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, is this only a regular season rule, or will they carry this into the postseason?
I believe they're not going to carry it into the postseason. I believe it's just for the regular season.
I don't think they carried it into the postseason last year either.
I think you're right there.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. No.
Oh, whoa. All right. Okay. Before we let you run here, any injury news to pass along? I know people have been looking forward to hearing something on Mike Soroka if you're a Braves fan and things like that. What about some of the big injuries out there? Headlined by him, of course. And what are you hearing on that front?
Yeah, I mean, Soroka, I think you're looking at sometime after the All-Star break. They've just been really, kind of non-committal in terms of when you're going to see him. I mean, they're just being so cautious, right? I mean, last time we thought he was on track, to be back before the All-Star break, and he re-ruptured the tendon and had the surgery done again. So I think they're just being so overly cautious with him. And I think as much as you want him to be an All-Star again, it's just to the point now. It's like I just want to see the guy pitch again. I just want him to be out there. He's been around him since he was drafted, and obviously wanted him to get back and be able to do what he feels like he was put on this earth to do. And you certainly hope he's able to have a chance to do that. And then with Acuna, you're looking at again the beginning of May with him. But if you've seen that guy, I don't know how they're going to keep him off the field until May. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, from what I hear, he's fired up and ready to go. Did we miss anything, Cory? Anything significant at the top of your mind to pass along?
Well, I mean, I think, on the topic of Acuna, I mean, I think we're going to have to watch whether he addresses today the stuff that came out of this interview that he did with this Dominican-based writer last night on IG Live. The guy normally puts stuff on YouTube. He's got over 200,000 YouTube subscribers, so this guy isn't, kind of a run-of-the-mill reporter, which Acuna, took some shots at Freddie Freeman. So I think that he wasn't going to miss him, they kind of had some confrontations or some clashes in the past, and including one where it seemed as though he wiped Acuna's eye black off and said, that's not how we do it here in the majors. And go check it out. I mean, I think it's going to be the video will eventually get uploaded, but Acuna denied even saying anything, but yet this guy has it on video. So I think this is something that's probably going to have to be addressed pregame today.
Oh, we got controversy. I hadn't even heard that yet. So controversy before the first pitch of opening day. For the champs.
Not even going to play till May. For a guy that won't play till May.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard a thing about that, Cory. I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, it happened late. It happened overnight. So he got on there. This guy's done interviews with Correa, all the big Latin players. He's had him on there. And he had Acuna last night and asked him about his relationship with Freeman and said they were not friends. They just shared the same stadium. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this.
Very interested because Freddie Freeman didn't have an enemy in that clubhouse as far as I was concerned, as far as I understood it to be, Cory, and that includes one of Acuna's best friends, Ozzie Albies. So,
yeah, I mean, I will say, being in the clubhouses, I think it's just something that just naturally happens. That you see a lot of the Latin American players stick more to themselves, and some of it's just the language thing, right? I mean, then you have guys on the other side of clubhouse. It doesn't necessarily lead into whether or not there's relationships between people, but I think there's just sometimes that secular nature to it, just because of the comfort of being able to speak your own language. And Ozzie Albies can kind of go back and forth between those because he is from Curacao and he speaks 5 different languages. But again, I just think it's going to be something to watch because there's some Acuna claims that it was a mistranslation, but many people have translated the video and said is 100% accurate what's being reported. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. At the end of the day, the Braves are going to win 120 games and they'll win the World Series again. So congratulations, 2022 world champions, back-to-back, the Atlanta Braves, for the first time since the Yankees won 3-0.
There you go. Mark it down.
All right, Corey, do your best to stay away from the Lightning, save as much cash as you can, and look forward to speaking with you next week once we're about a week into the big league season. This is a great time of the year when we get to have you on consistently, and we hope you enjoyed as much as we do. Have a great weekend and happy opening day.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks so much.
See ya.
There you go. Cory McCartney, one of the best. One of the best. I will find that. That is very interesting. I'm glad he brought it up here. Thanks, Corey, for waiting until the final 2 minutes of your 30-minute segment to get into the drama. We want the goods, man.
At the end of the day, there's so much love for Freeman in Atlanta. And Acuna is such a young star. So he will have to address it, but I don't see this being much of a friction thing. They're not in the same clubhouse anymore. Who cares what he said? Who cares what he thinks? If Freeman had a guy who doesn't like him or more, fine. I think he will have to address it and at least just own it if it's actually what he said. But after that, this shouldn't be much of a big deal.
It won't, and it's the Braves, and the Braves they'll nip it in the bud. I mean, they've done it like this forever. I mean, this is not the first time there's been a clubhouse issue in Atlanta, and they'll solve the problem. It's just the way they work. They're not going to let this thing get out and all over the place. They'll nip it in the bud, and they'll move on. And we got to move on. It's 1:00. We're going to hit a timeout. When we return, we'll update the leaderboard. If you don't know what it is, we'll tell you what's happened in the last few minutes or so, give you a quick update on a couple of other things outside of golf, and then Meredith Taylor and Scott Glaze will join us in 15 minutes to take us home here on this Thursday afternoon. The Masters is underway, and so are we. Don't go anywhere. The JB and Goldwater Show will be right back. Right here in our backyard is Motley Rice LLC, a law firm that hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Motley Rice team fights every day for South Carolinians who were injured while traveling by plane or bus, harmed by medical drugs and devices, or burdened by dangerous auto recalls, including Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. We are honored to have Motley Rice as a sponsor for the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
At Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum, families walk in the footsteps of our nation's heroes, the brave ones who risked their lives to defend our way of life. Home to the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, and the USS Clamagore, there's more than 1 million square feet of exhibit space to roam. White Glove certified, we have several new health safety measures in place to enhance the visitor experience. Come for the day and leave feeling inspired. One of the most impressive museums in the country, located right here in Mount Pleasant. Visit patriotspoint.org for more. We'll see you soon.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work, and to others you probably don't think much about, stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
This is Scott Glaze, head golf professional at the Links at Stono Ferry, located on the outskirts of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm inviting you to tee it up on one of the most scenic and challenging courses in the Lowcountry. Our back nine is highlighted with 3 holes that border the Intercoastal Waterway. Visit stonoferrygolf.com to book tee times and discover all that Stono Ferry has to offer. The Links at Stono Ferry is a former South Carolina Golf Course of the Year and is also home to the College of Charleston men's and women's golf teams. Come see us. We would love to have you. stonoferrygolf.com.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm Chris Half, Public Information Officer at the Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum. We're home of the mighty USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, Clamagore, and Vietnam experience. And we're a proud partner of the JB and Goldwater Show. We invite you and your family to come see us and enjoy a day on Charleston Harbor. Visit patriotspoint.org for more information. And now, it is my honor to present the National Anthem.
Live, loud, and online.
Final hour, Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the JB and Goldwater Show, brought to you in part by iHelp Consulting. How can I help you? iHelpConsulting.com to save money in your business. Daniel Owens owns it. He is a wonderful dude. Check him out, iHelpConsulting.com. Make sure you've downloaded our app, the JB and Goldwater app, if you are about to walk out of the house or leave the office and you want to hear something spectacular in golf and you don't have the app, then you probably need to download it, because Scott and Meredith are ahead in about 10 minutes, and we will let them fill you in on everything you could possibly dream of pertaining to the Masters. Currently, Taylor Gooch is the sole leader. He is at 2 under through 9. There is a pretty crowded group at number 1. Harry Higgs has fallen back to 1 under following a bogey on number 11. Danny Willett is up to 1 under. Daniel Berger's at 1 under. Joaquin Niemann in that group with Tiger, he sits at 1 under par. Cameron Champ is at 1 under. Charles Schwartzel is at 1 under. Robert McIntyre, Justin Rose, and Takumi Kanaya, they are all at 1 under. I omitted one name, and that's probably the biggest name, Tiger Woods. He's also at 1 under par. He birdied the par 3 6th, Darren, where he almost holed it from the tee box, and he had about a foot to tap it in, and he did. And then he parred number 7, and now he is on the par 5 8th, and he is in the fairway. His drive is 280 yards, and it split it. And it's a 570-yard par 5 here on number 8. So thus far, it has been as good as it could get, I think, for Tiger Woods.
Saved par right after that birdie. He had to lay ups, and then his chip up to the 8th green was, the 7th green was right there. He stuck it. So he was able to save par after making the birdie, and his drive here was perfect. It was just tailor-made, pretty typical Tiger, high cut, perfect for the hole shape, and he's set up now. He's just waiting to hit the next shot.
Yeah, he is. So far, he has been quote unquote masterful at the Masters. Takumi Kanaya is also at 2 under par now, so he'll share the leaderboard with Taylor Gooch at 2 under, and then there's Tiger. So he's got a ways to go here if he wants to get up on the green in this second shot, Darren, to hopefully give him a chance to do something really special on this par 5 8th. And he's kind of waiting out there in the fairway before he gets that shot off and underway. Anything that you've seen, and I'm anxious to ask Scott and Meredith this same question here in just a little bit, but anything that you have seen from him that has led you to believe that health is an issue early on? And if so, do you think it's just the way that it is, or it's something that, you can tell that it's kind of bothering him?
That's a yes and no question. I think it's obvious that he is limping at times. He is not limping all the time, but he is absolutely limping at times. In his press conference, when asked about pain, he admitted that I think that was even his answer. It's an everyday type of thing. So durability and sustainability right here is as I say that, he is currently stretching as he waits to hit his next shot. Durability and sustainability here, and will weather be a factor in that? I mean, everyone knows that if rain's around, depending on the pressure, I mean, who knows? Who knows how that will affect him? How 18 holes in 4 consecutive days on a course that everyone knows by this point is not flat by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
That's a concern. It is noteworthy that generally when he's picking up his tee and picking up the ball out of the hole, he is bracing himself on his right, injured, repaired, whatever you want to call it, leg. So at least he was avoiding that when he played with Charlie, I don't know, a couple months back when we saw him occasionally.
December.
Yeah, we didn't see any of that. So at least you are seeing some of that right now. And I think his iron play is good. And off the tee, generally has been okay. There have been 2 hiccups, the first hole and the hole right after his birdie. And I think this was probably his best drive outside of the par 3.
I think everything that he has plunked into the fairway thus far has been in that 280 range. I mean, he's kind of found his groove there with what he's trying to do off the tee box, Darren. He's not trying to do too much. He's just trying to stay in the fairway.
A lot of 3-woods. That's the reason why he's not rearing back, but it looks like he is preparing to go for it. He should. He's in perfect position here. So he's just waiting it out here to go for it on the par 5.
Some of the other names that are out there on the leaderboard, Tommy Fleetwood, Louis Oosthuizen, Justin Thomas, Hideki Matsuyama, they are all at 1 over par. So is Tony Finau, Eric Van Rooyen, Bernard DeLonger, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Cam Davis. There's a bunch there at 2 over as well, including Kevin Kisner and Lucas Glover. Russell Henley, who used to live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, he is also at 2 over. Why is he at 2 over? Because he doubled number 1. So a rough start to the day for Russell Henley. Freddie Couples is there at 3 over, and so on and so forth down the list. There are a bunch sitting right there in the middle at even par as well. Harry Higgs has fallen back another shot. He is even through 12. Brian Harmon, he is even through 12 thus far. Jason Kokrak, Max Homa, Brian DeChambeau, they all sit at even par. So is Adam Scott. Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler has been a trendy pick to win the tournament this week. Lee Westwood is now on the course. Patrick Reed and Corey Connors, they're all through number 1. Gary Woodland is through 2. He is even par as well. That is basically everybody that's out there, and still plenty to go. Tiger has just taken his second shot on this par 5 8th, and it has it's short.
Yeah.
But so he is I don't know what he is, but he's got a good shot into the 3rd from there. Yeah, he pretty much laid it up. Yeah, you're right.
The other notable, Cam Smith. Cam Smith just eagled the hole Tiger's on. That is the 8th. He started with a double bogey. He is now to 1 under par. Cam Smith through 8 holes. Just 11 players currently under par right now.
Absolutely. Great observation there, Darren. So in those last 4 holes for Cam Smith, he is 4 under because he was 2 over after that double at the first. So he birdied 5, he birdied 6, and then 3 under.
Yeah.
And then he birdied number 8. So 3 under in his last 4 holes to get him back into the good stuff from where he began the afternoon. All right, before we hit a break and get Scott and Meredith in here in about 3 or 4 minutes, yesterday the Board of Trustees at South Carolina took another hit from the State House, basically. It cleared the House, and it looks destined for the Senate. This Board of Trustees bill that is set to strip it down to 13 members and wipe out anybody that is currently still on it is moving at a furious pace through the Midlands. I don't know how much official information is out, but I will say that a contact sent me a text last night, said that not only did this thing clear the House, Darren, it was like almost
unanimous.
Yeah. And you think about there, I think there's 114 votes. Think about that. That's how much and how quickly they want this thing to get through and move on. The board it looks destined to be restructured.
They should. As an outsider who's now lived in South Carolina for 20 years, you don't want your state university embarrassing you when it's going out in the paper and in media about the dysfunction of the board of trustees. Forget athletics and the side that we talk about. But when it's out there, that's a bad look, man. It's a bad look. You should want that changed. So good for them. Doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It'll head to the Senate. If it's passed there, it'll head to the governor's desk. And if he signs it, it's official. And this change would take place next year. So we will keep our eyes on that certainly as time moves on. But today is the day for the Masters and opening day. We've already spoken with Cory McCartney about opening day. Up next, Scott Glaze and Meredith Taylor will take us home as we break down what we've seen on the course and this pretty darn good start for Tiger Woods in Augusta. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Hopefully, you won't ever need legal help for a catastrophic injury or health issues from a medical drug or device. But if you or a loved one suffers injury or loss, Motley Rice LLC is a nationally recognized law firm that is right here in Mount Pleasant at 28 Ridgeside Boulevard. Thank you, Motley Rice, for sponsoring the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show. Visit motleyrice.com for more. motleyrice.com.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity financed a new loan, subject to lender approval.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
It's the best time of the year on the sports calendar, and there's no better place to soak it all in than your spring headquarters. Dog and Duck, with 3 area locations in Bell Hall, Park West, and Clemens Ferry Road. Until May, $5 pints of Wicked Weed Brews and Devil's Backbone. Again, until May. Patio seating, happy hour daily. Family bingo on Monday, the Duck Truck Double Burger every Wednesday, Rib Night on Friday. It's the place to be for the best wings in town, the best sports everywhere you look. Dog and Duck, 3 area locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clemens Ferry Road.
What's up, everybody? This is South Carolina singer-songwriter Patrick Davis, and I might live in Nashville, Tennessee now, but guess what? I can always keep up with the news back in South Carolina because I've got the JB and Goldwater Show. Thank you, JB and Darren, for being live, loud, and awesome.
All right, 1:18 on this Thursday afternoon. Hopefully the skies are parting in our neck of the woods. It's been a little rough around here the last couple of days. They certainly have in Augusta. Weather this morning backed it up a little bit, but they are definitely underway. Scott Glaze will be here in just a second. Meredith Taylor has already joined us, and they're going to take us home as we get through the first round of the 2022 Masters. One real quick basketball note I forgot to pass along. I want to pass this along both Brian Steele and Will Bailey joining Frank Martin's staff at UMass. So them, Taquan Woodley, it's going to be a lot of garnet and black flavor in the Minutemen program moving forward. So expecting Scotty any moment now, but first, there she is, ladies first. Meredith Taylor joining us on one of the most glorious days of the year, Meredith, as the Masters begins. Hi, how are you?
How am I? I'm great. It's Masters Thursday. This is my Super Bowl, my Final Four, my World Series. This is my day. So yeah, I'm great.
You dressed up.
So you're gonna know better than me, and you're gonna be mad that I'm trying to come up with the name. The lady who won the women's amateur and the bucket hat.
Bucket hat swag. Anna Davis, who is 16 years old, wins at Augusta. So I had to bring out the bucket hat in homage to her.
I saw an interview with her, and she said it was kind of just a funny thing. There was a time a couple of tournaments ago, I guess, back at home.
Right.
When she didn't have a hat and she rocked a bucket hat and was like laughing about it. It was the talk of the town, and it became her thing. So she figured
now
out
it's like her trademark. Yeah, exactly. So she had to rep it at Augusta National. It's her thing. And then she goes on to win. Unbelievable.
16, right?
16. What were you guys doing at 16? I wasn't winning at Augusta.
Not playing Augusta.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I wasn't playing at Augusta. That's for sure. That was Yeah. That is outstanding. That is outstanding. Well, thus far, even though Tiger's in danger of dropping back to even here at the par 5-8, this has been his shakiest hole yet. He kind of laid it up there with that second shot, and it was 50 yards out and just couldn't get it to skip up onto the green. And then his fourth shot has left him maybe 8 to 10 feet or so for par, it looks like, Meredith. But we'll get more to Tiger in just a moment. Takumi Kanaya is the leader right now, 2 under through 2. A nice start to the day. Bird at 1 and 2 for Kanaya. So that is your sole leader right now, currently at 2 under par. But I'll ask you, as you look at the leaderboard, what thus far are your takeaways?
It's early.
Yeah.
The big boys haven't teed off yet, so it's going to change a lot, especially with the greens will firm up a little bit. They look pretty darn fast to me. After 4 inches of rain last night, I was a little shocked by that. But with Augusta National, you also have, subwoofers underneath all the greens that can suck out the moisture and, things like that is not normal. So, yeah, they're running true and running pretty quick right now.
I just sent Scotty
There
a
he
message
is.
right on time. Yeah, I agree. They have looked rather quick out there. What are the conditions thus far? It looks like they've changed a little bit from this morning. It looks like the wind has picked up a tad. Is that true?
This morning, with the air being dense and humid, the ball is not just not going to go as far. So those guys that carry the ball a long way are going to have that huge advantage, and those guys tee off here soon. But yeah, when you don't have any run out and you get a few mud balls, there's no lift clean in place at Augusta National, and I don't think they're going to start today. So it's going to be interesting.
The hair looks good today, Scott. If you were on the course, it would be blowing all over the place. We're glad you can make it. What's up, brother?
What's up? Yeah, sorry, I was out there in the wind-swept Stono Ferry. It's awesome. It's Masters Thursday. I mean, I've got Tiger right in front of me. I wish I was looking at y'all's beautiful faces, but Tiger's looking, I guess, to save par here on 8.
Didn't do it,
which he didn't do it.
But yeah, good to go. Got my Masters hat.
Here we go.
It's got her bucket hat ready.
Let's go.
Mug.
Cheers. Yep.
Yeah. So we're we're good. We're good to go. I'm ecstatic. No tournament like this, no day like this. Awesome start from Tiger. Poor bogey there on 8. I know we're going to talk a lot about him, but I think great start for him today. He hasn't played competitively in well over a year. And so to get some good pars under his belt, great birdie there on 6. I think he's in really good shape. I was nervous on the first hole. The last 14 winners of the Masters have made par or better on the first hole. We haven't had a winner to bogey the first hole since Zach Johnson in 2007. Wow. And so Tiger wipes it off the first tee there. I think nerves might have been a bit of a factor, and had to save his par and, of course, put it dead in the center. So that streak could still live on.
Tiger is back to even par after that bogey at the 8th, which we'll get a little bit more into that specifically here in just a moment. But Kanaya continues to lead at 2 under. And then it's Danny Willett, Cameron Smith, Joaquin Neiman, who is in Tiger's group, Cameron Champ, Robert McIntyre, Charles Schwartzel, Justin Rose, and Lee Westwood, all right behind at 1 under par. Meredith mentioned that it's early and the big boys are still set to tee off. The 2 o'clock hour has plenty of star power in it. Billy Horschel, DJ, and Colin Morikawa right on the dot at 2 p.m. Cantlay, Rahm, and Zalatoris at 2:11. At 2:22, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, and Victor Hovland. And then at 2:33, Rory, Brooksy, and Fitzy, Matt Fitzpatrick. All three of them will be in that group. But let's get to Tiger, because that's what everybody at least has been focusing on early in the tournament here as things kind of start to play themselves out. And we'll see how much of the conversation he is a part of tomorrow and then therefore into the weekend, if he can get it, Scotty. And we'll lead off with you on this one. As you watched him play these first 8 holes, his best shot of the day came on the par 3, where he almost took it. He was about a foot off from holding it there. But the par 8th, a little bit disappointing. It's the par 5 8th, a little bit disappointing. He chips in with a 6th. So he's at even. But what have you seen? You mentioned he hadn't played in a while. I think it's an outstanding start for somebody that's gone through what he's gone through over the last year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all reports this week have been of how well Tiger's hitting it. I mean, Fred Couples came out and was Tiger's hype man after playing with them on Monday. I mean, I thought Tiger had hired Freddie as his new agent with the way he was hyping him up. But I mean, it gave me chills when they asked Tiger, "Do you think you can win this golf tournament?" And he said, "I do." And that's why he's here. He would not be here if he has not conceded, and he'll probably never concede to ever being a ceremonious golfer. So he's not going to play the Masters just to play, just because it's 25 years since his first. He would not show up if he thought he could only shoot 75, 76, miss the cut and stick around and hang out and hobnob with all the other green jackets. So he's here because he thinks he can compete and he can win. I mean, Vegas had him earlier this week, once it seemed, especially after Tuesday when he said that he was going to play. I believe they gave him odds of plus 150 to finish in the top 20. And I mean, that's pretty strong there. It is I shouldn't say an easy cut to make, but it is the easiest cut to make of any other major championship, just due to the fact that you have some. I think this year we had 91 players, but it's usually in the 90s there. The top 50 in ties make the cut, and you have a handful of past champions that are past their prime. You also have amateurs in the field. So it is a fairly easy cut to make in regards to, and in comparison to other major championships. So if Tiger hangs around even par, the course, I'm surprised that we're 5 hours into the Masters and we only have one player at 200 par. Golf course playing a lot more difficult than I would expect after all of this rain. Right when I logged on, Meredith was talking about the sub-air system. I mean, they can suck all the water out of this place that they want to. But I think the big thing with Tiger and what is going to bail him out this week, if his ball striking fails him, is his short game. That is one thing in his first rehab from his spinal fusion and in the rehab now with his leg, is that you're able to hit putts and pitch shots and chips a lot sooner than you can anything full swing. So we saw it on 7. He had a very nice up and down there. I was a little surprised there how he handled number 8 with the short game, but I think that where the ball striking may lack for Tiger, especially as he starts to get fatigued and tired, maybe have a little pain, his short game should bail him out if he's going to contend and at worst, make the cut and try to get in the top 20, which he's done, I think, something absurd like 19 or 20 times in his career. So it's almost automatic for him at this place. He knows it like the back of his hand. And it's just bizarre that we're talking about him playing in the Masters.
I'll give you a quick update on that. He yanks his drive and then grimaces afterwards here on the ninth. So he's into the trees on the left, and Schwartzel has moved into a tie at T2 through 4 with Kanaya.
And Cam Smith. Cam Smith is now at 2 under as well. He's on a little bit of a hot streak. He's birdied 4 out of the last 5 holes. He just birdied number 9.
That's a great
so 5, 6, 8, and 9. Cam Smith has chipped in Bert. Yeah, so let's Tiger, as Darren just pointed out, he just kind of pulled that drive into the trees on the left. We'll see what type of it actually looked like it kind of came out into some clearing, so you might have a decent shot out of there.
He grimaced too. That's what I really didn't like. I mean, there was a clear look of discomfort even as he started walking down off the tee box.
What, Meredith, from a driving standpoint, he's been pretty consistent, about 280 off of the tee box throughout the day. So kind of fill us in there. What is he trying to do? What's his approach been thus far on the course?
Well, it looks like he's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. He knows this golf course so well. He knows where to leave it. If he's going to miss, he knows exactly where to miss so he can still get it up and down. There's nobody better. He thinks his way around this golf course so beautifully that even his misses are in the correct spots. And that's the most important thing around here. You can't be above the hole. You can't short side yourself or it's going to be bogey. And even though he's in trouble here, he'll know exactly where to place it to give himself the best chance at making par. That's what he does better than anybody, I think, on this golf course for sure.
If he can par and get out of this front 9 at 36, what does that tell you?
Well, 20 of the last 21 Masters champions have shot par or better on their opening 9 to start the Masters. So he'd be on that trend there. The only exception was actually Tiger in 2005. He shot 1 over on his opening 9. They had a stat up a little while ago of Tiger's best opening rounds at the Masters, and all 4. Well, actually, I think he shot 72 and 97, where he shot the atrocious 42 on the front and then 30 on the back. But the other 4 times in which he's won the Masters, he shot 70 or better to start. So I think if he can make par on 9, you go into the back 9. Your par 5s are, I think, more gettable on the back 9 with 13 and 15. Well, we'll see with 15. 15 has been lengthened, so we'll see how 15 is going to play this year as compared to years past. But you should have really good opportunities there. He should also be able to have a wedge into or a short iron with a good tee ball into 14. And as I said earlier, I think that's going to be the strength of Tiger's game this week is his short game, probably 150 yards and in. So I think he should have some birdie opportunities along the back 9. But with the way the golf course is playing, it should get breezier in the afternoon. So I don't expect it to get much easier. If he can keep it around even par, I mean, the old cliche is that you cannot win the golf tournament on the first day, but you certainly can lose it. So that's really what he needs to do today. And I think Tiger gets more, as well as a lot of these big names in the field, they're going to get more and more dangerous as the tournament goes on once they start getting comfortable. But I think especially Tiger, who has been away from competitive golf, get a good round today. He's able to get a lot of rest since he'll go in the afternoon tomorrow, and just keep getting those reps, keep getting those holes under his belt. I think is going to make him more and more comfortable and more dangerous.
Both of you, Meredith and Scott, Darren just pointed out a little bit ago, and he was exactly right. As Tiger hit that tee shot, he was grimacing a little bit, kind of coming down the walking down the fairway, and there's probably for diehard Tiger fans some PTSD there because they look back into in the rearview mirror and they've seen this before. We've all seen it before where he just couldn't do it. I mean, it was hard to watch as he gave it his all in previous tournaments when he kind of had some health issues. But as we've watched him with 9 holes, and of course his second shot gets up onto the green out of the, I mean, just it rolls off, but
yeah, it rolled off.
It'll roll off. So he's coming uphill here for his third. Have a shot to save par. As you've watched him now through 9 holes, do you think? I mean, we don't know, but based on what we've seen before, speculating here, is it really constantly hurting him, or is it more along the lines of here and there it's bothersome, but he can certainly play through it? Meredith, we'll start with you.
Well, he's won off of one leg before.
Yes.
So there's
That's
that.
true. Yeah.
But I won't take any more airtime away from Scott talking about Tiger. How about that?
No, I mean,
nice.
I've got no clue. You know, I've got this kind of nagging thing going on just this week in my left leg, just kind of tweak something. And like, I'll get up from my desk or out of the car and I just kind of like hobble for a second, you know, feeling my age. And every time I've done it this week, I just think Tiger had a mangled right leg and he's playing in the Masters. So I think he has to be in pain. There's no way. Now he did say in his press conference that the pain will get better. It's better and better every day. So I don't think, you know, Thursday compared to Sunday is going to be a lot better. But as he progresses through the weeks and the months since this injury, it gets better and better. But he has to be in pain. As Mary said, he's going on one leg.
Hello.
Yeah, Neiman just hold out on 9.
No big deal.
Oh gosh,
that is unbelievable.
Was that for a 2?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Put it past the hole, took the slope, and rolled it right back in.
What was that, Darren? About 20 feet, maybe, on the roll?
The roll, at least, probably more.
Looking like a veteran, putting it behind the hole and bringing it back.
Neiman. Yeah.
And that's somebody I actually thought that you could fade this week because of the fact that he was paired with Tiger. Played really well, played phenomenally at Riviera, Tiger's tournament.
Puts him in the lead.
Yeah, and I really thought that as Joaquin has been in great form, but just playing in the hoopla that's going to be with Tiger Woods the first 2 days, I did not think he'd be playing this well. We'll see if he continues it. But, yeah, I think Tiger has to be in pain, but we have no way of measuring that. You know, it's these great athletes, you know, it's like Tiger with the flu game, Lance Armstrong who knows? He had some help maybe in beating cancer, but at the same time, when he was in his prime, we just talked about his pain threshold and how he was able to do it. And I think, you know, same thing for Tiger. I mean, this is what makes the great ones great.
Meredith, you've played Augusta National, right?
Yes, sir.
What's Tiger walking through out there? I mean, he said there's nothing flat about this course except the 18th tee boxes. So describe
exactly right.
Augusta National.
Yeah, people don't understand until you've actually walked the grounds, the undulations and the elevation changes out there. There is nothing flat about anywhere. Like he said, 18 tee is the only flat piece. You can kind of see the contours, but until you're there, you don't understand. You never have a flat lie. You're always hitting off a downhill, uphill, side hill, and it's very difficult to walk when you're healthy. So yes, it's going to be tough on his body, but he also has access to the best doctors, the best physios, the best, you know, trainers. So I'm sure he has his whole team working on him at all times to make sure. I mean, he wouldn't be there if he couldn't get through 4 rounds.
You know, that's interesting. Did y'all hear the story of how he ended up in the FootJoy shoes?
I heard what he said. I don't know if there's exact truth behind it, though.
If it's the same story I heard, and now all of I've spoken to some of my reps and good friends at FootJoy, and they're ecstatic that he's wearing
I'm sure.
But yeah, his physio, I guess, rehabbing and whatnot. You know, most Nike golf shoes fit the mold of Nike athletic shoes, like running shoes. They are a bit more flexible, you know, very comfortable, but that just was not working with Tiger with his rehab and how he would be able to perform at his best coming back from this injury and basically reconstructing his right leg. So his physio went to the PGA Superstore in Jupiter and bought every single pair of shoes that they had in Tiger's size, and they tried every single one, and this is the one that they ended up on.
It's the most stable one, and you've got to have a stable shoe. If you're hurting and having to walk all of those hills, you've got to have the correct shoe for you, for sure.
When did it happen? When did that trip? I hadn't heard the Superstore part. I knew he basically said he needed more support, but if you're Nike and they're never going to come out and say something negative about Tiger, you got to be livid, right? Don't you want Tiger to say, hey, make me a shoe that looks exactly like FootJoy? Or there have been many instances when a shoe is on someone's foot in many different sports and the logo isn't necessarily there, or it's kind of covered. And that's not happening either.
I heard that they're building him a shoe. So the fact that it wasn't
I think somebody at Nike got fired this week.
I bet. Yeah, I would agree.
But there are also stories in the past when Tiger was playing Nike equipment, when Nike got into the equipment world, where if he was not happy with what they were doing with the driver, that he'd go back and play his old Titleist driver, almost just to spite him and say, you got to make me something better. So I wouldn't doubt.
And what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Exactly. You going to drop me? You going to find me? No, you're not going to do any of that.
Like, I want to play a static Cameron, so put a swoosh on it and we'll be good to go.
There's two people in the history of the world that have done anything remotely close to anything when it comes to brands, and both of them have been Nike, Jordan, and Tiger, and they both can do whatever they want to do.
I think one quick thing talking about, or Meredith was talking about the undulation at Augusta National. I know we talk about it every year, and they'll probably put this up at some point on some point in the coverage, but the lowest point of the golf course is Rays Creek. So down in front of the 12th green. The tallest point of the property is the clubhouse. That elevation drop from the clubhouse down to Rays Creek is taller in feet than the Statue of Liberty. So that shows you the change in undulation of Augusta National. And what is of note for someone like Tiger has a right leg injury. On number 8 there, you can tell, that's one of the shots you can tell in the coverage that it's severely uphill. So that second shot, he's playing from an uphill lie. So his left foot is above his right foot. So that makes it even harder for him to then transfer his weight, shift his pivot off of his right side to his left side, and coming off of his injured right side. In doing that, the tendency to miss is going to be to the right. You don't get through the shot. You might hear the announcer say he did not finish his swing. So an instance like that on number 8, we might have that maybe on 15. There's some other instances where he might have that type of lie. And the tendency in that situation is for Tiger is going to be a miss to the right. And that's what we saw on number 8 and resulted in a bogey.
All right. Tiger does save par with a deep exhale once it hit the bottom of the cup as he makes the turn to the back 9 here in his opening round. Before we kind of move on from Tiger, let me ask, give both of you, give me a number, give me a score that you would say, okay, there's a long way to go. I'm not stupid, but give me a score that at the end of the day, if Tiger hits it, you say he's in it. He's in it with that score, Meredith.
Even 1 under or 2 under.
Yeah, 2 under would be unbelievable. Scotty?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, I was going to say the same thing. I think anything in that range from 70 to 72, based on his form today, I don't really see him getting hot and shooting anything under 70. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden rattle off a few birdies. But as we talked about earlier with the par 5s on the back, I think he can get it under par. And if the scores stay around these marks, I mean, I think we'll see somebody probably shoot 67 today. 500 is probably going to be in the lead.
Exactly.
So if he can be an under par, he's going to be right there. And just Tiger's no underdog, but in any type of sporting event, when you have an underdog, the longer they hang around, the longer that they believe they can do it, that's when they become really dangerous. And I think a situation like this for Tiger, especially on a place so familiar, the longer that he's in the mix, the more and more belief that he's going to have that he can do it. The gallery or the patrons, the more belief they're going to have that he can do it. And everybody on the leaderboard, if they see his name staying up on that leaderboard and in contention, I can only imagine what they're going to think as this event goes on.
A lot of it too. I was right there with you. I was thinking even 1 under, something like that. But it also depends on how. I mean, the back half of the second wave has some power guys in it. Some guys who are among the highest odds to win this thing, or the shortest odds, whichever way you want to say it. Lee Westwood has just jumped into the group at 2 under par as well. So I threw that post up careers thing in because if you're not in the top 10, the last 17 winners have come from that top 10 group, and there's also a finishing in the top 15 multiple times in your last few tournaments as well. But as the week or as the day really wears on, and you know that you've got wind coming tomorrow, this second wave today, what do you expect the course to play like as guys like Rahm and Rory are out there?
I mean, I think somebody will shoot 5 under today, but if you're in that even 1 to 2 under, that's a great start, especially if you're Tiger, because you're in striking distance. You can, and again, playing in the morning, you're gonna not. It was softer today. I don't know that there'll be a ton of guys shooting low this afternoon. We'll have to see, but yeah, it's. Even 1 to 2 is going to be a fantastic start.
All right, let's navigate how not just Tiger but the rest of the field can get there. Before we do that, I want to make sure that we remind folks of the changes that have been made to the course this year. They're all on the back 9, and that's where Tiger just teed off on 10, and it was a hell of a shot too, and he really liked it. 11, the white dogwood. They moved the Masters tees back 15 yards into the golfers' left. They recontoured the fairway, and they removed several trees down the right side as well. The 15 Firethorn, they moved the Masters tees back 20 yards, and the fairway has been recontoured. And the 18th, the Holly, the 18th, 13 yards added to the back of the Masters tees without necessitating a change in the length of the hole. So those are some of the major changes this year at Augusta National, and we'll see how much some of those changes really affect the golf. But where can you score on the back 9? You know, what holes? I mean, we know the history of the back 9. We know the moments of the back 9. So how do you score it?
Well, once you get to the back 9, I think your mentality changes, especially as you get through 10 and 11. What goes overlooked a lot is the stretch from holes 4 through 7 on the front 9. Very difficult, probably the most difficult stretch of holes on the front. So being able to navigate those for someone like Tiger, anyone in the field, to get through the front 9 unscathed per se, you can head to the back. And 11 is always a difficult hole. I'm very interested to see how it's going to play this year. It's going to play a lot straighter. Over the years, since they did the major renovations in the 2000s, 11 has played more of a dog leg with a lot of trees on the right. Well, now they've removed a lot of those trees. They've straightened the hole out, and it seems like there's some very strategic pines placed to the right. So I think if a player's tee ball goes to the right, they might have some openings. But when we saw in the AMWA on last Saturday, some players hit it to the right and have to navigate a couple of these pines. So I think 11 is very difficult. Once you get through 11, we all know the lore of the 12th hole there, but you are really going to be able to make hay on 13 and 15, depending on the hole location. On 16, we see a lot of birdies there. Typically the toughest day on the 16th hole is usually Friday. They put the flag in this little shelf over on the right, which is very difficult. And then with good tee shots, we see a lot of opportunities on 17 and 18 as well. So you have an opportunity to turn on the green light a little more on the back 9. But if you walk away from the par 5s on the back 9 without putting some circles on the scorecard, you're gonna be falling behind. So that's where you have to make your move, is on 13 and 15.
Meredith?
Yeah, 11, 10's a difficult hole. He talked about the elevation changes, hitting a big sweep and draw down there, and you've got this downhill lie to a hard pan green. It's not as easy as people think. 11 was the second most difficult hole on the golf course last year, and they've extended it. But I think it is an easier tee ball now that they've moved the tee box to the left a little bit. It gives them a little better angle to place like center right. So they've got a better chance of getting on that green in the right placement, depending on the pin. But there's no more Larry Mize shot. You know, a lot of guys used to bail out to the right, you know, away from the water, and then they just chip it up and make their par. Well, they've redone that green, and so it's elevated now, so it's a tougher chip, which will be interesting to watch over the weekend. when nerves kind of come in. If somebody's over there on the right-hand side, 12 is the hardest and greatest par 3, I think, ever. People don't realize it's such a small sliver of a green. A lot of people talk about the players, that island par 3 being so tough. You could land an airplane on that green compared to number 12. It's like 8 paces on the right-hand side. It's a small window. If you're short, you're in the water. If you're long, you're in the pine trees. It's so difficult and it's so fun. And then the wind swirls. You can be on 11. The flag on 11 is going left, and you look over to 12, and the flag's going the opposite direction. It's just like, what's going on? So it's always confusing to guys. And 13, like you said, is an easier par 5 for the guys to take advantage of. 15 is the one that's going to be interesting to watch them play it. These guys are the best in the world. But when they add on 25 more yards and you've got 240 into a green you can't see, water short, water long, and the wind is deceptive. So I don't know if there's going to be more layups on that hole. That'll be very interesting for me, at least, to see them play and attack that hole.
Thus far today, the 8th is playing as the easiest hole on the course at 0.4 shots under par. 4.587 is the average score at 8, and Tiger's one of just 3 bogeys there. Of course, they are now on the 10th, where Joaquin Niemann just went into the sand to the right of the pin. He's got a short chip out of there, and it's going to be a toughie. Tiger, exactly the same spot as Joaquin Niemann, is rolling off the front of the green. So he's going to have a chip up to try to get to par. He was I don't know if anybody is watching this while they're listening to us, but if they're not going to know what we're talking about here. Meredith, Scott, if y'all just saw that shot, how much further did he need to go to keep that thing on the green? How short was he?
Well, because sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say that same shot, come Sunday, that shot releases. Yes. And now we're seeing Tiger's reaction now, and he's none too pleased. Mm-hmm. So that is a result of all the rain that came through, which is making that whole location on 10 very difficult with the way that it slopes.
So all
3 guys missed. Tiger's shot was online. He thought he hit a good shot. The other 2 guys did not hit a good shot. Oosthuizen pulled one wildly, and Niemann lost his to the right. Now he's got a really short pin in front of him in the bunker.
Oh yeah, Niemann here. I mean, he's in jeopardy of losing the lead with this shot because he's got no room. He's got no room, right? So he's going to go out.
You'll have to make a long one.
That's a situation where you're just trying to eliminate a double there. Just get it out, 20, 25 feet, take your medicine, go on to, doubles. We saw Louis make a double earlier in the round. Doubles are what kill you. You're going to make bogeys, 72 holes. You're going to make bogeys. So you just got to eliminate the big number. And real quick, we were talking about like players this afternoon and what they're going to do. And I had to refresh my memory. Last year, Justin Rose had a 4-stroke lead after the first round, and he went out in the afternoon, I believe, shot 65, and then we had Brian Harmon and Hideki last year that shot 69. Were tied for second. So don't be surprised if you have someone that tries to run out and hide. And as we saw last year for Justin Rose, that does not necessarily mean that you win the Masters. But I find it interesting, the similarities in terms of the majority of the field, that we had the one guy at 7, and then the next best score was 3 under par. So we could see something very similar.
Yeah, we mentioned there's so much star power. We've got about 5-6 minutes maybe left in this segment, guys, and then that 2:00 group is gonna tee off, led by Billy Horschel, DJ, and Colin Morikawa, and so on and so forth. I mean, let me ask you a bold question here, Meredith. Maybe you're pulling for Tiger Woods, but does the winner come out of the 2:00 hour?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah,
highly probable.
Yeah, Cantlay, Rahm, Zalatoris, Spieth, Schauffele, Hovland, Rory, Koepka, Fitzpatrick, they all tee off here in the next 45 minutes or so at Augusta. Does that, Scotty, if I made the statement that the winner of the Augusta, the 2022 Masters will tee off in the 2:00 hour on Thursday, would you buy that? Would you buy stock in that?
I would buy stock in that. And not only because my pick is coming from the afternoon window, but because of the way the winds might blow tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a little firmer, so I think tomorrow afternoon is going to play tougher than the afternoon wave will play today. So these afternoon guys are going to get to play tomorrow morning in a little easier conditions. So I think they're going to catch. This is probably the better draw to go late early. We shall see, but yeah, this afternoon is loaded with some star power, and I'd put some stock in that. Yeah,
there's more star power in the afternoon than here. I mean, JT's really only one of the favorites that's currently out. There's a lot of love for Cam Smith. He's up there. Maybe some on Patrick Reed. Yeah, maybe some love for Patrick Reed because obviously he plays well around Augusta. But the favorites, like there's more power coming behind in this afternoon wave.
Oh, no question.
Yes.
Yeah. What does that mean for Tiger teeing off tomorrow afternoon? What do you think that'll mean for? I mean, clearly we got to see how he finishes today, but what do you think that'll mean from a condition standpoint?
Tiger's about the only guy that doesn't really matter what side of the draw he's on. And time and time again in his career, doesn't matter what is thrown at him. I think only one time. I think it was in maybe 2001 when he was trying to complete the career. No, or maybe whenever it was, the Tiger had a great shot. He won the Masters and the U.S. Open. Went into the Open Championship, got a terrible draw there, played in horrible weather, and that ended the chance for the calendar Grand Slam. It's about the only time I can think of where he's been on the wrong side of the draw. I think for him in his situation, it's good for him to go early late because it gives his body the most time. If he was teeing off at 2:30 today, he would have to turn around, cool his body down. Go through that whole process, get dinner, go to bed, get up. Who knows when he'd have to get up if he was playing at 8:30 tomorrow, in order to warm his body up and not to mention the fatigue and soreness that he may have.
Did somebody pull a string for Tiger on this one? Was it couples?
I think he's probably earned that.
Oh, you think?
Sure. Yeah.
What tea time do you want? We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's all it takes is 5 green jackets. You get to pick your tea time, huh? That's nice. I like that. I like how that works. All right. We're in clearly fairly deep into the first round, so it's a little unfair to ask it now. But Meredith, your pick. Who wins?
Justin Thomas.
Me too.
For a couple different reasons. Obviously, he's got the game. I've watched him at the Players, and he's hitting shots that you've got to have here. Obviously, he's got the arsenal to do it, but the short game is what has impressed me. Tiger says you got to have great hands around this golf course. You've got to have great short game. But then he's got Bones on the bag. Bones has won a lot here. And this is the first time we've seen Bones on his bag. And to me, having that calm, cool, collected, knowledgeable guy on your bag, that'll save him a couple strokes this tournament. I really believe that, just because of his experience and knowing the wind and the club selection. And anyway, that plus the Tiger influence, playing a practice round with Tiger. And Freddie, he's getting all the knowledge he needs for this golf course. That's why I'm picking JT.
Before we get to Scotty's pick, I want to, because I'm not a big beer guy, but I know Darren and Scott are. So happy National Beer Day to both of you. You get to watch the Masters, drink beer, and Major League Baseball's opening day, and the Braves will begin their defense of their title. So this is a hell of a day, Scott Glaze.
Cheers to that. See you, dog and duck, Darren.
I mean, I'd have done it whether it was National Beer Day or not. But
it's always National Beer Day, Darren.
But now that's the excuse.
Yeah. I know Meredith's more of a liquor girl like myself, but
no, not at all. Stop it. No.
No. Scott, who wins?
Well, I love Meredith's pick of Justin Thomas for all the reasons that she said. I think he's been the best player thus far this year without a win. He has played very, very solid golf. The way he played in that extremely windy round at the Players Championship showed a lot to me with the way he has matured as a player, and considering the fact that we're going to have wind be a factor at this Masters. I think the way that Justin Thomas is able to control his golf swing and control his golf ball, I think are going to be huge in conditions like that. We have soft conditions. Justin Thomas, I think, is the best player on tour at controlling the spin with his wedges. And as we saw with Tiger's shot on number 10 there that hit up by the flag, spun off the front of the green, JT does a great job at taking spin off of shots. And as the course plays soft on Thursday and Friday, I think he's doing okay right now. I think he's around even par. I think he's going to be able to use that as an asset. Also, as she said, I think Bones gives him probably a shot or two advantage than he's had here in the past, along with the knowledge that he's gotten from Tiger. I don't know if y'all caught what John Rahm was saying, about Justin Thomas getting a dissertation from Tiger, and he basically gave Rahm the cold shoulder. I thought that was hilarious. So I think that's a great pick and a smart pick. However, that is not my pick. I'm going with Brooks Koepka. It pains me to say it because I'm not much of a Koepka fan, but Koepka is still he's not king of the hill anymore, but he's still up there pretty close to the top. Since 2006, cumulative score to par in the majors, Brooks Koepka is 92 under par. The next lowest player is Dustin Johnson at 28 under par. Most strokes gained total in majors since 2016. Brooks Koepka, 2.63 strokes gained. That's better than Dustin Johnson, who's at 2.03, and Colin Morikawa at 2.02. And also, since 2017, Koepka beats the scoring average of the field by 2 or more shots 60% of the time. He also has the lowest first-round scoring average of any player in the majors in this about 5-year span. So he has done serious damage in the majors. We saw him at the Masters last year. He's coming off of his knee surgery. I think that influenced the way that he played last year. But if you remember, the last time Tiger was a big factor and a big talking point at the Masters was 2019. Brooks Koepka was right there till the bitter end. He missed about a 10-footer on 18, which would have gotten him in a playoff with Tiger. I think he kind of feeds off of that. With the type of locker room bulletin board material type of guy that he is. And I think that he feels a little overlooked and a little disrespected. And that goes in the same vein with the type of mentality and the type of athlete and golfer that he is. He needs those things to motivate him. And I just feel like it's going to line up. It kind of, to me, feels inevitable that at some point Brooks Koepka is going to win a Masters, much like I feel like it's inevitable that John Rahm and Justin Thomas will as well. But I don't know. For the last 2 weeks before the match play, it just kind of hit me. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat or anything. I'm shocked, but it did just kind of hit me. I thought, I think Brooks Koepka is going to win this Masters. So I'm going to stick with my gut on that. It's not what my heart picks, but it's what my gut and my head are telling me.
Couple of quick parting shots here. Tiger 5 of 7 in fairways hit today, 4 of 9 in greens hit. He's had a couple roll offs, so we'll give him some leniency there. 4 of 5 in scrambling, and you pick Brooks Koepka. I refuse to pick anybody with blonde tips, so no chance. Speaking of hair, though, Tiger's hair is back, so he's clearly taking something.
Not when he takes his hat off. Not up here, it's not.
But it's back in the front. It was gone last year. It's back, so he's rehabbed that. I'm gonna steal one of your guys, Scotty. I think Xander Schauffele. I think it's his week. I like Xander Schauffele, and I like the way he's playing, and I think he'll play well. And keep an eye on Will Zalatoris. Got a sneaky feeling he's going to be making some noise. I don't think he'll win it, but he'll make some noise.
Darren? I love the JT idea. I actually like all of them. That's what's fun about this tournament in particular. There's a lot of guys.
So fun.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean the favorite this time is John Rahm. Generally does not win. I like the fact a lot that John Rahm is maybe coming in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Has already mentioned that he wants to go chase down the majors record, and it's not about him. I do expect Rahm to play very well. I think JT's going to play very well. I'm going Rory without the talk of can he get
that was my heart
Slam.
pick. Yes.
My second is Cam Smith. Like, I want to hedge this and say Cam Smith as well, but I've only put money currently on one guy to win, and that one guy is Rory. And I did it because career Grand Slam, the talk is Tiger. No one's talking about it with that pressure, and he's been playing okay. I'm Rory.
I love that.
I love that too. My heart definitely wants Rory. Quick Rory stat. Since 2015, Rory won his last major championship in 2014 PGA Championship. Since the beginning of 2015, in the first round of major championships, Rory is 34 over par. Rounds 2 through 4, he's 60 under par. That ranks third of all players that have played the same major championships in this now going on 7-year span. The only two players that have a better scoring average from rounds 2 through 4 are Brooks Koepka and Jordan Spieth. They've combined to win 7 majors in that span, and we've had 0 from Rory. So he's due.
Jordan is different when he steps on property here. It doesn't matter how he's played all year. He steps on property and he plays amazing.
Yes.
So you can't discount his record here either.
Can't discount anything at the Masters, boys and girls. Tiger's teed off at 11, and he likes it. We'll see how he finishes. Right now, he is 2 shots off the lead as he parred his last hole. The leaderboard is this as we let y'all go. Sung Jae Im, Lee Westwood, Charles Schwartzel, Scotty Scheffler. Keep an eye on Scotty Scheffler, right? Joaquin Neiman, Cameron Smith, and Danny Willett, all at 2 under as the Masters is underway. If you want to play golf and you're in the low country, where are you going? Stono Ferry, stonoferrygolf.com to book those tee times. And it's been yucky outside for the last couple of days, but the next few days are going to be spectacular. Highs in the upper 60s this weekend and not a cloud roaming the skies. So if you want to play, you better book them now. I got a feeling it's going to be pretty packed out there because it's going to be beautiful. But packed isn't bad at Stono Ferry. They actually know how to do it, you know, where you actually get to move around the course and not sit there and wait on a bunch of doofuses to tee off. If you do go to Stono Ferry, walk into the clubhouse and ask for the man.
The man.
That is Scott Glaze. If you ask for Scott Glaze, they will not know who you're talking about. So ask for the man, the office right there around the corner. Meredith, you're the best, and we're so happy to have you today. Y'all are going to be back tomorrow as well. We can't wait to see what the leaderboard looks like then, and maybe you have a different golf course to talk about as well as the conditions continue to change. Thank you, guys. Happy Masters Week.
Happy Masters Week.
Yep. Amen. See y'all tomorrow.
Later. Scott Glaze and Meredith Taylor and Darren Goldwater. 2:06. We went a little bit into overtime, but it's all right. It's the Masters. We get it. We are out of here. Happy opening day. Major League Baseball has returned 14 minutes from the first pitch of the 2022 season as well. The Braves on national TV tonight at 8 o'clock hosting the Cincinnati Reds on ESPN2. Plan to watch that. Masters will be over by then, so it's a great day for sports. We'll be back tomorrow. Derek Scott tomorrow, Rafael Esparza tomorrow, and then both of those two crazy critters will rejoin us in our final hour of the work week. For Darren, I'm Jamie. Thanks to both Scotty and Meredith, and thanks to Cory McCartney for joining us today. We hope y'all have a wonderful day watching golf. See you tomorrow on the JB and Goldwater Show.